Hey there, amazing friends. I warmly invite you to join me on this exciting journey by subscribing to my channel, liking, commenting, and sharing my videos. Every like, comment, and share brings us closer together and fuels my passion to create more great contents. Your support truly makes all the difference. Thank you for being the heart of this community. A river that flows backwards? The unbelievable true story confounding modern geography. A gentle hush settled over the valley as dawn broke, revealing a wide stretch of water that shimmered with faint morning light. At a glance, it looked like any other river, winding across plains, cutting through farmland, a silver belt of current meandering toward an unseen outlet. But if one stayed longer, observing carefully, they might catch a startling revelation. At certain times, in certain conditions, this river appeared to run upstream, its flow reversing course, confounding all normal expectations of how waterways behave. Locals speak in quiet wonder of this phenomenon, while travelers arrive with cameras and preconceptions, leaving in awe or suspicion. Is it a natural quirk, an elaborate hoax, or something that rewrites the rules of geology? This question has prompted centuries of fascination, culminating in modern scientific studies that attempt to decode how an established river, known to flow in one direction for thousands of years, can spontaneously reverse itself. Though at first it sounds like a myth or a poorly understood rumor, the backwards flowing river is no mere rumor. It is a real phenomenon, albeit one steeped in context, conditions, and complexities that highlight the hidden wonders of Earth's fluid dynamics. The story behind it is not just about water defying gravity, but also about tides, storms, geological shifts, and the precarious dance between land and sea. It's not the only example. Across the globe, a handful of rivers are known to flow backward, or at least appear to do so under certain circumstances. The phenomenon might be partial, like a tidal bore surging upstream, or cyclical, triggered by the gravitational pull of the moon, or abrupt changes in sea level. Yet in popular lore, these events have acquired a near mythic status. For local communities living alongside such rivers, the reversal may be routine, perhaps a monthly or seasonal event that's part of life. Outsiders, however, stand stunned, expecting water to always flow from high to low ground, only to see it surge in the opposite direction. The resulting confusion has fueled accounts of freakish rivers and portals to other dimensions, or signs from the gods. More prosaically, science reveals that tides, storms, or geological factors can cause water to shift direction, but that doesn't diminish the wonder. It underscores how, even with all our modern knowledge, nature's complexities can still shock us. To appreciate this phenomenon in all its detail, it helps to examine real-life examples, delve into historical anecdotes, and parse the scientific explanations behind them. The result is a tapestry of fact and folklore spanning continents. One of the most iconic instances that everyday folks may have heard of is the story of the Amazon River's tidal bore. The Amazon, one of the largest rivers on Earth, empties into the Atlantic with massive discharge. Under normal conditions, one might expect the flow to remain outward, unstoppable. But with certain lunar cycles, the ocean's tides grow so strong that they push inland, forging a wave known as the pororoca, which roars upstream, effectively reversing the surface flow. It's a spectacle of churning water and noise, with surfers sometimes riding that wave miles inland. Although the entire Amazon might not consistently flow backward, the phenomenon is dramatic enough that onlookers can see the once downriver current forced temporarily upstream. The pororoca, recognized for its primal intensity, stands as a prime example of how a river's final push into the sea can become a site of contradictory flows. The local communities accept it as part of their environment, even harnessing it for tourism or adrenaline sports. Meanwhile, Visitors stand wide-eyed, seeing a colossal river defy standard direction, if only for the duration of a tide cycle. Yet, for all its scale, the Amazon's reversal is fairly well understood. The ocean's tidal wave is strong enough to subdue the outward flow. This is a partial or cyclical reversal, not a permanent one. But in popular discussion, it's often labeled the backward-flowing Amazon, fueling the impression that Mother Nature is rewriting the rulebook. Another famed example is found in the Mississippi River. Historical records describe how, during the cataclysmic New Madrid earthquakes of 1811-1812, certain sections of the Mississippi briefly reversed course. Eyewitness accounts detail how the tremors caused the land beneath the river to warp, changing its gradient for a time. Water surged upstream, flooding banks in odd patterns, leaving communities disoriented and terrified. Some called it an omen or a harbinger of the end times. More recently, events like Hurricane Isaac or other large storms in the Gulf of Mexico have forced water upriver, effectively reversing the Mississippi's surface current for hours or days. This rarely happens on a large scale, but the episodes produce dramatic headlines. Mississippi flows backward. Scientists parse out the details. The surge from the ocean, propelled by storms, overwhelms the normal flow, reversing the river's surface or at times even deeper layers. In that sense, the backward flow is not a miracle, but a dynamic interplay of water levels, meteorological pressure, and the river's topography. Yet in popular imagination, it cements the Mississippi as another site where rivers don't always obey typical laws. Beyond these well-known cases, there are more subtle or ephemeral reversals around the world. The phenomenon often stems from tidal bores. Many big rivers with shallow deltas can see inbound ocean tides, forcing upstream waves. Examples can be found in China's Qiantang River, infamous for its massive tidal bore that roars upriver. Meanwhile, certain small rivers in Britain experienced lesser tidal surges. In France, the Seine near its mouth can exhibit slight reversals in sections near the coast. The watchers in local communities sometimes celebrate or fear these events, weaving them into festivals or folklore. They note that animals sense the changes in water direction, with fish or crustaceans stirring in unusual ways, turning tides into ephemeral hunts or harvests. Even so, these typical tidal bores are well studied, recognized by oceanographers. They remain mesmerizing but not puzzling from a scientific viewpoint. But the story at hand concerns an alleged river that permanently flows backward, defying standard explanation. This is no mere ephemeral tide or quake-induced phenomenon. Instead, the rumor suggests a river in a remote part of the world that runs inland from the coast for many miles, ignoring the region's slope. It's the kind of rumor that surfaces occasionally on internet forums or travelers' tall tales, referencing the River X in country Y that no mainstream geography acknowledges. Each iteration is riddled with contradictory details, from claims that the water runs uphill to allegations that the government tries to hide it. In some stories, one hears that the reverse flow is supernatural, a punishment from ancestral spirits who reverse the water to guard sacred land. In others, it's pegged to advanced alien technology hidden beneath the riverbed, creating a gravitational anomaly. Typically, such rumors prove ephemeral. The real location might be a standard tidal phenomenon or mislabeled anecdote. But every so often, the watchers claim to have found photographic evidence or a snippet of geological data that defies easy rationalization. The river that flows backward remains a persistent footnote in conspiracy-laced and curiosity-driven corners of the web. One particularly elaborate rumor concerns a remote stretch of desert terrain in Central Asia, where a small tributary of a known river is said to spontaneously shift direction without any tidal influence or seismic event. The watchers describe how travelers occasionally see water surging upstream, carrying sediment in the wrong direction for hours, then resuming normal flow. The local shepherds apparently treat it as a sign from desert spirits, leaving offerings at the riverbank. Pseudoscientific explanations revolve around subterranean aquifers pumping water, or hidden sinkholes, or abrupt wind-driven surges. The watchers speculate about magnetic anomalies or hidden bases. Official statements from the region remain silent or unhelpful if they exist at all. Without a structured scientific expedition, the rumor remains anecdotal. Adventurers who attempt to find it often come back empty-handed, concluding it's too far into unsettled territory or that the phenomenon is either fleeting or fictional. Yet the rumor endures. Another rumored site is in Africa, where explorers talk of a phantom river in a mountainous region. The environment there is said to be a labyrinth of valleys. Local tribes speak of a sacred waterway that occasionally reverses, believed to be a sign from ancestral spirits. The watchers who claim to have glimpsed it speak of hearing a thunderous roar as the current changes direction, as if the water is being forcibly reversed by an unseen hand. Then the flow corrects itself hours later. Supposed geological explanations might revolve around underground passages that intermittently release or block water, in effect causing strange surges. Yet nobody has pinned down a precise location or captured comprehensive footage. The watchers remain convinced it's real, that local silence is out of respect for a site of immense spiritual significance. Skeptics label it a local myth designed to keep outsiders away from the tribe's territory. So does a truly permanent backward-flowing river exist, or are these partial illusions of tide, quake, or local anomaly? The simpler answer is that a strictly permanent uphill or reverse flow defies the basic laws of physics. Water inevitably flows downhill unless acted upon by an external force such as tides or wind. However, many reverse flow phenomena are regionally consistent, triggered by cyclical events, or by extreme meteorological or geological triggers. They can appear shocking to those not used to them. Just as with the Amazon's pororoca or Mississippi's storm surge, the watchers who arrive might interpret it as magical or alien if they lack context. In that sense, the unstoppable puzzle of a river that flows backward can be an intersection of real geophysical events with the narratives we weave. Meanwhile, the watchers wanting it to be proof of alien technology or hidden advanced engineering might never find their conclusive smoking gun. The flow is ephemeral, the data ephemeral. If it weren't ephemeral, it might be integrated into mainstream geography as a known phenomenon. Yet these ephemeral events slip away, erased by the next tide or overshadowed by the next storm. Consider the possibility of underground forces. Another partial explanation for certain small streams or ephemeral flows reversing is complex subterranean drainage. In some karst regions with limestone bedrock and caves, water can vanish underground, re-emerging elsewhere in ways that defy simple topography. Under rare conditions, an underground channel might get temporarily blocked, causing surface water to back up or reverse direction. If an unsuspecting traveler stumbles upon it at that moment, they might indeed see water running uphill. The watchers might call it proof of a cosmic anomaly, but a geologist sees a quirk of hydrogeology. Indeed, the watchers and geologists might be referencing the same phenomenon from different vantage points, each highlighting certain aspects. The watchers highlight the sense of impossibility and wonder. The geologists highlight the hidden complexities of terrain. But even acknowledging these more plausible explanations, some cases remain unverified or defy typical logic. The watchers cling to them. The cryptic footage of a channel in the midst of a calm plain whose water seemingly slides backward for a kilometer or so. or a drone video capturing a wave traveling upriver with no known tide or wind impetus. They interpret these as either advanced alien technology siphoning water for unknown reasons, or as natural anomalies that push the boundaries of known science. In each instance, the Watchers push for more thorough investigation. Official bodies rarely allocate resources to chase ephemeral illusions, especially in remote areas lacking strategic importance. So the cycle of rumor persists, each remention of the phenomenon stoking curiosity among new readers, each attempt at official scrutiny failing or never quite materializing. One might ask if NASA or other major agencies keep track of such anomalies from satellites. Possibly, though picking up ephemeral reversals in small rivers might require very high-resolution, continuous monitoring. That's more effort than most research budgets can justify. If the Watchers are correct that some super-advanced group orchestrates these events covertly, they might deliberately time them to avoid satellite passes. Or more plausibly, the events are so fleeting they slip under typical satellite intervals. In the conspiratorial sphere, that's enough to maintain the rumor that a clandestine presence manipulates these waters for their own ends, be it alien resource collection or intangible energy harnessing. But for the average inhabitant near such a site, life continues. They may be unbothered by, or even proud of, the local, mysterious reversing river. Tourists might come, snap photos, look unimpressed if they fail to see the phenomenon. Or they might witness a mini flood reversing course, leaving them wide-eyed. The Watchers, of course, remain on the lookout, scanning internet threads for fresh sightings, cross-referencing data from satellite weather to guess which conditions might spawn a new event. Over time, the phenomenon becomes a quiet part of the region's identity, like a secret old friend that occasionally visits, leaving behind a swirl of speculation. Thus, the river that flows backwards cements its place among the pantheon of unbelievable true stories, bridging the gap between how we think Earth's systems should function and the revelations that, under certain circumstances, all bets can be off. For each casual observer who sees the reversing flow, the immediate reaction is disbelief. Water can't do that. But water, shaped by gravity, tides, storms, and invisible forces, can occasionally break the illusions of a stable world we hold dear. The Watchers interpret it as a sign that mysteries remain, that science still has frontiers, or that cosmic visitors might be at play. Meanwhile, mainstream geophysics acknowledges that dynamic systems like tides or storms can reverse flow, at least partially, if conditions align. The unstoppable quest for absolute clarity continues, but the ephemeral nature of each event ensures that the phenomenon remains half known, half lost to rumor. In the final analysis, a river that flows backwards? The unbelievable true story confounding modern geography stands as a testament to nature's capacity for producing phenomena that shake our everyday assumptions. Whether caused by tidal bores, storm surges, shifts in topography, or something more esoteric, the effect of seeing a waterway defy directional norms remains mesmerizing. The Watchers who delve deep into conspiracies about advanced technology or alien meddling may never find the ironclad proof they crave. But their stories feed the sense of wonder that keeps legends alive. Ultimately, these reversing rivers, be they ephemeral or partially cyclical, remind us that Earth is a living planet, full of dynamic forces that can invert our sense of what is possible. For travelers who stumble upon a reversed flow, the moment can be transformative, etching a memory of awe. Because in an age of satellites and mapped out everythings, discovering a river that flows backward, even for a moment, can be the perfect reminder that not all is tamed or explained. And that, perhaps, is what stirs the human spirit most. The realization that some corners of the world and some corners of science remain to be fully charted, awaiting the next witness with open eyes and an open mind.